head UNAU Peacekeeping Mission in Darfur, Sudan. He is Ambassador Martin Uhomoibhi. It's good to have you on our program tonight, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, sir. Now, Nigeria, seem to have, this increase of internal conflicts, and it is hindering the much-needed peace that is needed in this country. What could be responsible for all this?
Well, it depends on where you are coming from. As a scholar, and perhaps a political philosopher, you will perhaps say that if you go to Thomas Hobbes, he says that in man's state of nature, life was nasty, brutish, and short. That's how Thomas Hobbes, the philosopher, described human beings. So what is going on in Nigeria, for example, is not limited to Nigeria. The nature of man, by nature, man's life, according to Thomas Hobbes, is nasty, short, and brutish. And conflict is more or less endemic to human nature. But the tragedy of conflict is that once there is an absence of peace, there can be no stability, there can be no development, there is no growth, and there is no progress. So it is in the interest of man, from the very beginning, to seek for peace. Okay. Peace is thoroughly important for man to be able to make progress, for man to be able to develop. Without peace, there is no development. And without development also, there is no peace. So there is a nexus between them. So bringing down this to human society, you see that peace has become really a rare commodity in today's contemporary world, almost everywhere in the world. So the challenge has come up, and why has that challenge become critical at this time? I think that's a very important matter to discuss and to debate. Okay.
Now let's talk about the day, talking about the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. It's a day, to consolidate men and women who have served. Now, how can they be honored, while still alive?
Well, you can honor them by working to make sure that peace becomes a rare event, a rare incident in today's world. That's the best honor you can give them, because peacekeeping that the UN is celebrating today came out, it wasn't part of the UN Charter in 1946, the San Francisco Charter that created the United Nations. It was not there, peacekeeping was not there. But peacekeeping evolved or emerged because there was need, when there is conflict, to look for a way to bring about peace. So to navigate conflict and bring about peace, that was how peacekeeping came. So it's actually chapter 6.5 of the UN Charter, the San Francisco Charter of 1945 that created the United Nations. So how can we make sure that peace now exists? Peace comes out when human beings are greedy and selfish. And people think that because of what they have, they can make profit out of peace, out of crisis and conflict. So we must look for peace in our own best interest. We must look for peace for the survival of man. We must look for peace in order to achieve development and prosperity. Peace is absolutely important in life, and nobody can do anything without the presence of peace. So we celebrate peace today, and we thank God that this is a mantra for the United Nations and for the entire community. And I must add, not whether the question is really relevant or not, that Nigeria is one of the key global peacekeepers. Indeed, on this continent of Africa, Nigeria is actually number 1. Globally, perhaps it's number 5. All over the world that the United Nations has been involved, Nigeria has been there. And so we must celebrate our country, Nigeria, for playing such a key and dominant role in global peacekeeping. And look at what we did in the 90s. How Nigeria projected its power by going to Liberia and Sierra Leone at the same time, simultaneously, and restoring peace to these two troubled West African countries. So that when people criticize Nigeria and say that, oh, godfatherism, certainly not. It is not godfatherism policy on our part. It is because we're a peace-loving nation, we're a peacekeeping nation, and we're very proud of that symbol about Nigeria, that quality of Nigeria, and we must sustain it. And the best way to do that is to ensure that we ourselves do not fall victims to conflicts. And that is where cultivating the youths and educating the youths on peace.
Okay, and that will take me to my next question. Talking about the theme, for this year's celebration, it is the road to a lasting peace, leveraging the power of youth for peace and security. Now tell us, what role can youth, play in entrenching peace here in Nigeria? Let's domesticate it.
First of all, the secret of peace globally is justice and equity. those two things. And then for a country like ours, where nearly 60% or 70% of our population are youths, you have to cultivate them. You have